Air Force pilot loses his badge in the wind. President salutes, and what happens next stuns everyone. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel. Your subscription means everything to us and is the only way to ensure stories like these, of brave pilots and their incredible journeys, reach more people. It helps us continue our work, so please hit that subscribe button now. The sky was painted in shades of blue and gray, a storm brewing on the horizon. Captain James Mitchell stood tall in his crisp uniform, a symbol of honor and dedication. But today something was amiss. The wind howled fiercely, snatching at his badge, a piece of metal that represented years of sacrifice and service. As it spiraled away, his heart sank and the weight of the moment pressed down on him like never before. Around him, a crowd gathered, their faces a mix of admiration and concern. The air buzzed with anticipation, and whispers of disbelief rippled through the assembly. They had come to witness a ceremony meant to celebrate heroism, yet the unexpected loss cast a shadow over the event. Little did they know, this was only the beginning of a story that would transcend the loss of a badge and ignite deep emotions within them all. The president himself stood nearby, a figure of authority and respect. As he watched the badge flutter away, his brow furrowed in thought. This was not just a piece of metal, it was a symbol of commitment, and the loss resonated beyond the personal. It was a reminder of the fragility of honor and the unpredictability of life itself. The crowd held its breath, sensing that what would come next would change everything. As the wind howled, Captain Colton Riggs stood frozen in disbelief, his eyes tracking the glint of his badge as it danced away, carried by the gusts like a fallen leaf. The audience, a sea of faces filled with awe and confusion, felt a shared gasp ripple through them. Some whispered among themselves, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Did that really just occur? A voice murmured, barely above a whisper. Others stared, eyes wide, absorbing the surreal moment. Among the crowd was Sarah, a fellow pilot and Colton's closest friend. She felt a pang of concern as she watched the badge flutter farther away. "Colton, don't let it get to you," she whispered, stepping forward, her voice a soothing balm in the tense air. "You know who you are. That badge doesn't define you." Yet deep down she shared his anxiety. The badge was more than a piece of metal, it represented the sacrifices they had all made. Then there was Jim, a seasoned veteran who had flown alongside Colton on many missions. He shook his head in disbelief, muttering, "This shouldn't be happening. Not today." His brow furrowed, reflecting the weight of years spent in the service. It was a day meant to honor bravery, and yet, here was a moment of vulnerability. The contrast was stark and he felt it acutely. As the president approached Colton, the atmosphere shifted. The crowd fell silent, eyes glued to the unfolding scene. "This is unprecedented," Jim remarked, his voice low enough for only Sarah to hear. "I've never seen anything like it." Sarah nodded, her heart racing as the president extended his hand, offering his own commander-in-chief badge. "You've earned this, Colton," the president said, his tone resolute and filled with gravity. "The badge doesn't make the hero makes the badge." The words hung in the air, a powerful declaration that resonated deeply within everyone present. The crowd erupted into applause, the sound echoing with emotion and respect. Yet beneath the cheers, a current of unease rippled through the audience. "Is this really happening?" someone asked, incredulous. "Can a moment like this change things?" Others nodded, their expressions reflecting a mix of admiration and confusion. They had come to witness a ceremony, but what they were experiencing felt like something altogether different, an awakening of sorts. Colton, still grappling with the whirlwind of emotions, felt a surge of pride mingled with confusion. The president's gesture was monumental, yet he couldn't shake the feeling of loss. The wind continued to whip around him, a reminder of the impermanence of even the most cherished symbols. "What if I'm not worthy?" he whispered to Sarah, vulnerability spilling from him like a secret he had kept for too long. "Colton, look around," she urged, gesturing to the crowd. "They believe in you. We all do." Her words were meant to reassure. But Colton sensed an undercurrent of doubt within himself. He had spent years fighting for recognition, but now, in this moment of unexpected honor, he wondered if he truly deserved it. As whispers filled the air, people began to share their own stories of loss and redemption. "I lost my brother in service," a woman said, tears glistening in her eyes. "He fought until the end. I wish he could have seen today." Others chimed in, recounting tales of bravery, sacrifice, and the ever-elusive nature of honor. Each story added layers to the moment, transforming it into a collective memory that would resonate far beyond the ceremony. "Do you think he'll be okay?" A young boy asked his father, eyes wide with concern as he pointed at Colton. He looked sad. The father knelt down, placing a reassuring hand on his son's shoulder. Sometimes even heroes need a moment to breathe. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. The boy nodded, watching intently, as if trying to glean wisdom from the unfolding drama. As the applause began to fade, the president stepped back, allowing Colton a moment to collect himself. But the eyes of the crowd remained fixed on him, anticipating his response. What will he say? Someone wondered aloud. This is his moment. Colton took a deep breath, feeling the weight of expectation pressing down on him. He started, his voice wavering. The silence was palpable, every ear straining to catch his words. I'm honored, he continued, glancing at the president. But today we are reminded that it's not the symbols that define us. It's our actions, our commitment to each other. The crowd nodded, resonating with his sentiment, yet a murmur of uncertainty lingered. As Colton spoke, the wind shifted again, and a chill ran through the crowd, reminding them of the fragility of life and honor. What if this is a sign? Someone mused, glancing skyward. A storm is brewing, and what does that mean for us? The question hung in the air, heavy with foreboding. Look at how the trees bend, another voice chimed in. They endure. They adapt. The crowd began to find solace in each other's words, sharing glances that spoke of solidarity. Together we can weather any storm, Jim declared, his voice rising above the murmurs. Let this moment be a testament to our strength, Sarah added, her voice resolute. We are united not just by badges, but by our shared experiences and sacrifices. The audience erupted in applause once more, this time filled with a renewed sense of purpose. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to comment from where you are hearing this amazing story. As the ceremony continued, the wind began to die down, and the sky slowly cleared. The crowd felt an inexplicable shift in energy, as if the universe was aligning in response to their collective spirit. Colton, now standing tall with the president's badge gleaming on his chest, exuded a newfound confidence. The moment had transformed him, and he realized that the loss of his own badge had led to something far greater, a deeper understanding of what it truly meant to be a hero. The tension that had once gripped the air began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of unity and hope. As the ceremony concluded, the crowd erupted into cheers, not just for Colton, but for every individual who had ever faced the storm, stood tall, and emerged stronger. The badge might have been lost, but in its place, a powerful message had taken root, one that would resonate in the hearts of many for years to come. As the applause began to wane, a sudden hush fell over the crowd. The atmosphere shifted, and an uninvited tension crept in, like the dark clouds that had momentarily parted to reveal a timid son. Captain Colton Riggs, still reeling from the president's unexpected gesture, felt the weight of the moment settle heavily on his shoulders. But it was in this stillness that the unexpected would unfold. From the back of the crowd, a figure stepped forward, a woman dressed in a simple flight suit. Her face was familiar to many, but her presence was unexpected. It was Lieutenant Commander Ava Martinez, a pilot who had been grounded after a tragic accident during a training mission. The whispers grew louder as she approached the stage, her eyes fierce and filled with determination. Colton, she called out, her voice cutting through the silence. I need to speak with you. The crowd turned, eyes wide with curiosity, while Colton's heart raced. Ava had been a rising star, known for her exceptional skills and bravery, before the accident had changed everything. The memory of that day hung over them like a shadow. Now, Colton asked, how the president honored you. But I need you to understand something. Her gaze burned into his, a mix of urgency and vulnerability. You're not the only one who has sacrificed for this country. You may have lost your badge in the wind, but I lost my wings in the crash. The crowd, initially silent, began to murmur, sensing the gravity of her words. Colton swallowed hard, the reality of her statement washing over him like a cold wave. Ava? Let me finish, she interrupted, her voice steadying. I know what it's like to feel the weight of expectations, the pressure to be a hero. But what they don't see is the fear, the doubt, the pain that comes with it. I've been sidelined, and I've had to confront my own demons while everyone else seems to move on, celebrating their victories. Colton's heart sank. He had admired Ava from afar, respected her talent and courage. Yet, he had never considered the struggles she faced after the accident. The cheers and accolades he received felt hollow in comparison to her quiet suffering. Ava, I didn't mean to overshadow. Stop, she said sharply, cutting him off again. This isn't about overshadowing anyone. This is about truth. We've all fought our battles and we've all bled for our country. But you need to understand that the badge doesn't just symbolize valor. It symbolizes the shared struggles of every single pilot who has ever donned a uniform. The crowd remained captivated, their murmurs fading into a contemplative silence. Colton could feel their eyes shifting, no longer focused solely on him, but on the weight of Ava's words. "You're right," he admitted, his voice rising above the whispers. "I've been so focused on my own journey that I lost sight of the bigger picture." Ava nodded, her expression softening. "We all have our moments of glory, but we also have our struggles. The loss of my wings doesn't diminish who I am or what I've accomplished. I fought through the pain and I'm still here. We need to lift each other up, not just celebrate the victories but acknowledge the losses." The president, standing nearby, nodded in agreement, his expression serious. "Ava, your words are powerful. They remind us all that being a leader, being a hero, is not just about accolades but also about empathy, understanding and shared experiences." Colton looked around at the crowd, who were now hanging on to every word, their expressions shifting from admiration to introspection. It was a moment of reckoning, a realization that the journey of a pilot was not a solitary one. "Thank you, Ava," he said, his voice steady. "You remind us that we are a community, bound together by our sacrifices, triumphs and losses." As the wind picked up again, it felt different this time. It carried with it a sense of unity, a shared understanding of the struggles faced by those who served. The badge, once a solitary symbol of honor, transformed in that moment into a representation of collective resilience. The crowd erupted into applause once more, but this time it was for both Colton and Ava. A celebration of their shared journey. In that moment, Colton realized that he was not just a hero in isolation. He was part of a larger narrative, one filled with stories of struggle, sacrifice, and redemption. The applause echoed and he felt a weight lifting from his heart. The storm on the horizon began to dissipate, replaced by a brightening sky that seemed to reflect the newfound clarity within him. But just as the atmosphere shifted, a loud clap of thunder rumbled in the distance, a reminder that the storms of life are never truly behind us. The crowd looked up, apprehensive as dark clouds began to gather once more. Ava's eyes narrowed and Colton felt a chill run down his spine. This moment of unity was overshadowed by an impending uncertainty. "Something's coming," Ava said, her voice low and urgent. "We need to be prepared." The shift in her demeanor sent a ripple of concern through the crowd. And Colton felt a spark of fear ignite within him. What lay ahead was unknown, but one thing was clear: their shared journey was far from over. With the crowd's attention shifting back to the sky, Colton knew this was just the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where courage, unity, and resilience would be tested against the winds of fate. The badge may have been lost, but what emerged from the storm would redefine their understanding of heroism. Together, they would face whatever lay ahead, united in their strength and shared purpose. As the thunder rumbled ominously overhead, a thick tension hung in the air, intertwining with the collective breath of the crowd. Captain Colton Riggs stood at the forefront, feeling the weight of their gaze, the expectations of a nation resting on his shoulders. Ava Martinez, still standing beside him, had ignited a crucial conversation about sacrifice, vulnerability, and the essence of heroism. Yet, even as the audience absorbed the profound truth of her words, the clouds above gathered, darkening the moment. Ava turned her gaze to the sky, her expression now one of steely determination. "We need to prepare for what's coming," she said, her voice firm. "This storm isn't just a weather phenomenon, it's symbolic of the battles we face. We've fought to earn our place in the sky, and now we must stand together against any threat." Colton nodded, feeling a surge of unity among the crowd. "Together?" he echoed. "We've faced challenges before, this storm won't be different." As the wind picked up, swirling leaves and debris around them, a newfound resolve began to take shape. The audience, once captivated by individual accolades, now felt the power of solidarity coursing through them. Ava stepped forward, raising her voice. "Let's not just be spectators of our own stories. Let's be the authors of our fate." Her words ignited a spark within the crowd, a ripple effect of determination. People began to cheer, their voices rising in unison, echoing their commitment to stand together through adversity. The president, witnessing the transformation, took a step back, allowing the moment to unfold organically. He understood that true leadership wasn't just about giving authority, it was about fostering strength within the community. As Colton felt his heart race with the energy of those around him, He knew the winds of change were at their backs. "Let's channel this energy," Colton shouted, his voice cutting through the gusts. "Let's show the world that we are more than just pilots. We are a family." The crowd erupted into applause, their spirits lifted, as they embraced the shared identity that bound them together. But just as the cheers reached a crescendo, a blinding flash of lightning illuminated the sky, followed by another deafening clap of thunder. The storm was upon them, the winds howling as droplets of rain began to fall. Yet, in that moment of chaos, Colton felt a sense of clarity. This was not just a test of their physical endurance, it was a challenge to their emotional resilience. "Embrace the storm," Colton called out, his voice strong. "Let it remind us of our strength. Together we can face anything." As the rain began to pour, the crowd stood firm, their spirits unyielding. They were no longer merely passive observers, they were active participants in their destiny. "Are you with us?" Ava shouted, her passion infectious. The crowd responded with a resounding roar, each person feeling a part of something much larger than themselves. They were not just pilots, soldiers, or civilians, they were a united force ready to confront whatever lay ahead. As the storm raged, the atmosphere shifted from fear to exhilaration. Colton felt the adrenaline coursing through his veins. This was a moment that would define them all. The rain fell like a baptism, washing away doubts, fears, and insecurities. The badge that had once represented individual valor now morphed into a collective emblem of their shared journey. "Let's take this moment and turn it into action," Colton urged, raising his arms to rally the crowd. "Let's commit to supporting each other, to celebrating not just the victories, but the struggles that have made us who we are." His words resonated, filling the air with a sense of purpose that transcended the storm. In that fleeting moment, the sky seemed to crack open, and a brilliant beam of sunlight pierced through the clouds, illuminating the scene before them. The crowd quieted momentarily, in awe of the beauty juxtaposed against the chaos. It was as if the universe was affirming their newfound resolve, reminding them of the power of hope amidst turmoil. "Remember this moment," Ava cried out, her voice rising above the rain. "When the storms of life come, we will stand together. We will lift each other up." The crowd erupted into cheers once more, their voices harmonizing with the thunder, a symphony of resilience and courage. As the rain began to soften, the storm's fury gradually subsided, leaving behind a sense of renewal. Colton looked out over the crowd, their faces illuminated with hope and determination. This was more than just a ceremony, it was a turning point, a moment that would be etched into their memories forever. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to subscribe for more incredible stories like this one. Colton urged, feeling the weight of the moment settle into something beautiful. With the clouds parting, a vibrant rainbow emerged in the distance, a symbol of their unity and the promise of better days ahead. Each member of the crowd held on to that image, a reminder that even after the fiercest storms, there was beauty to be found. They were no longer defined by their badges, but rather by their willingness to fight for each other and to embrace every facet of their journey. As the crowd began to disperse, Colton felt a profound sense of change within himself. The loss of his badge had transformed into a deeper understanding of heroism, one that encompassed vulnerability, connection, and shared experiences. Together, they had weathered the storm, and together they would continue to soar. In that moment, Colton realized that the true essence of a hero was not merely in the accolades received or the battles fought, but in the unbreakable bonds formed in the face of adversity. They had turned a moment of loss into a powerful declaration of their resilience, and as the sun broke through the clouds, it illuminated the path ahead, filled with endless possibilities.